Listen carefully. What you are about to hear is not something you will find in classrooms, not something your parents ever told you, and certainly not something society wants you to know. Because once you understand this, you will never see people the same way again. For centuries, men lived in illusions, illusions of loyalty, illusions of love, illusions of truth. They believed people acted rationally, that goodness was rewarded, that honesty was always respected. But those illusions are weapons. They are chains designed to keep you weak, predictable, and easy to control. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolo Machiavelli looked at the world with cold, brutal honesty. He stripped away the comforting lies and exposed the reality of human nature. His writings were considered dangerous, even evil, because they revealed the truth most people are too afraid to face. The church banned his book. Kings feared it. Yet behind closed doors, rulers, generals, and billionaires still study it today. Why? Because his ideas are not theories. They are laws. Laws of human psychology. Laws that do not care about your opinion, your feelings, or your morals. They simply are. And the first law is this: people are emotional, not rational. Think about it. Every day, you see men and women making choices that destroy them. A man works a job he hates, but stays because he's afraid of change. A woman cries about being hurt by toxic partners, but keeps choosing the same kind of man again and again. A friend asks you for advice, nods as if he agrees, then ignores every word you said. Do these sound like rational decisions? Number, they are emotional decisions disguised as logic. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than the hand." In other words, appearances matter more than reality. It doesn't matter how much effort you put into something if it doesn't look valuable to others. It doesn't matter how deeply you care about someone if they don't feel it. People are moved by emotion, by fear, by desire, by jealousy, by hope. Not by truth, not by facts. That is why logic almost never wins arguments. That is why the smartest man in the room is often ignored, while the most confident speaker is celebrated. Look around. The products that sell the most are not always the best, but the ones marketed with the most excitement. The leaders who gain the most followers are not always the wisest, but the ones who can ignite passion. The men who attract the most attention are not necessarily the kindest, but the ones who project mystery, confidence, or danger. This is the reality. If you want influence, do not focus on facts. Focus on feelings. The man who controls emotions controls the room. But here is where most people go wrong. They think this means becoming manipulative, pretending to be something they are not. That's not power. That's desperation. Real power is different. Real power is when you understand that humans are emotional creatures, and you learn to align your presence, your words, and your actions in a way that makes people feel something unforgettable. Do you want to be respected? Don't lecture people with logic. Radiate calm confidence, and they will feel safe around you. Do you want to be followed? Don't just explain your vision. Make them believe in the fire behind your eyes. Do you want to be desired? Don't tell them how great you are. Create an aura of scarcity and let them feel the weight of your absence. This is not manipulation. This is reality. This is psychology. And if you refuse to accept it, you will remain invisible in a world that only responds to feelings. You will be ignored, overlooked, and forgotten, while those who understand human emotion will rise above you, even if they are less intelligent, less skilled, and less deserving. The world is not fair. It has never been fair, but it is predictable. And predictability is power. The moment you stop expecting people to be rational, is the moment you gain freedom. Freedom from disappointment, freedom from false expectations, freedom from betrayal. Because once you see that people move by emotion, you stop fighting it and you start using it. And that is the first step to power. But that is only the beginning, because once you accept that people are emotional, another brutal truth is revealed. Their loyalty is not what you think it is. Now let's move into the second rule. If you want to avoid that boring interview mode, you must learn to ask the kind of questions she doesn't even realize she wants to answer. This is deeper than curiosity. Every single one of us carries hidden parts of ourselves, thoughts we've never fully put into words, feelings that exist in the background like a faint whisper. And when someone manages to press that button and bring it forward, it feels electric. It's like, finally somebody actually sees me. This is exactly what you want her to experience. Don't ask surface questions like, "So what do you do?" That's predictable. Instead, say, "Do you ever feel like people really get you?" At first, she might hesitate, maybe even feel a little exposed. But that hesitation is good. It means she's thinking, not just replying. And the moment she digs into that feeling, she'll associate that moment of opening up with you. Here's the truth. Most people never understand this. The person who gives you space to be your quiet, authentic self becomes unforgettable because they allowed you to feel more you. That's the real goal, not to impress her, but to gently draw her out of the mask she wears for the world. Try asking, "What's something you loved as a kid but stopped doing?" Or, "When do you feel most like yourself?" Even something as simple as, "Wait, you said that fast. Say it again, slower." That last one is incredibly powerful because it makes her replay her own words and emotions in your presence. And people don't forget how they felt when they repeated something that mattered to them. Here's another principle to remember. We lose the details of conversations, but we never lose how we felt while saying them. If you can guide her back into her own emotional memories, she'll think you're deep, even if you said almost nothing at all, because this is the essence of it. You're not collecting information when you ask these kinds of questions. You're striking a match near the puddle of her inner world. You're igniting curiosity about herself again. And because you lit the spark, she links that self-discovery to you. Now let's move to Rule 3, one of the most vital ones. Inject emotion, not just logic. This is where most men fail. Society, school, and work environments train us to value logic. Give the cleanest answer, structure it neatly, win the gold star. That works in exams, but attraction runs on a completely different currency. Listen carefully. What she feels with you matters far more than what she knows about you. You can deliver perfect logic, but if she never experiences a pulse shift, if her emotions never spiked, you'll still be forgettable. No imprint, no memory. Logic enters the intellect. Emotion enters the soul. Logic tells us what happened. Emotion tells us what it meant. That's the distinction. Take this as an example. A surface-level question like, "So what do you do?" is predictable, energy neutral. It puts her on autopilot. But if you flip it and ask, "Do you enjoy what you do, or is it just paying for the parts of life you actually love?" Now she has to pause and reflect. You've shifted her from recall into reflection, from rehearsed lines into raw feeling. Push it further. If it weren't for other people's applause, what would you do? Or, what's the risk you keep postponing, even though it's the one that matters most? Or even, what did 14-year-old you think life would look like by now, and how much of that kid is still making decisions for you? These are not small talk. These are doors. When she halts, searches, and actually feels something while answering, that's the threshold. That's where attraction begins. And when she replies, don't keep it flat. Don't reduce her words to a spreadsheet. Paint in pictures. When she says she grew up in a small town, don't just say, oh, that's nice. Try. Small towns feel like midnight kitchens, where the silence is so deep, you can hear the fridge humming. Did you learn to love that silence or fight against it? Now she's not trading data. She's reliving textures, images, emotions. This is the secret. Human beings don't connect through information. They connect through the feeling of shared experience. Emotion is contagious. Your tone becomes her weather. If you speak from a place of truth, she'll feel it. Don't focus on memorized lines. Speak like you're half living the memory while telling it. Don't chase cleverness. Chase authenticity, because her nervous system reacts before her intellect ever has a chance. You can feed her facts, and she'll nod politely. But if you reach her meaning, she'll remember you at 2 a.m. in a dark room, when her brain replays what mattered. So here's the key. Ask in ways that create images. Use unfinished thoughts. Don't reveal every detail. Give her a mirror she didn't know she needed. Make her feel something nameless but real, and she will never forget you. Now that you understand the principles, let's talk about the 3 techniques that turn ordinary questions into addictive ones. If you master these, you'll have a tool that works not just with women, but with anyone you want to connect with. Technique 1. Use implied premises that frame you as the one who gets it. Most guys try too hard to prove they understand a woman. Their questions feel like tests. Oh wow, you're into crystals. Tell me more. But what this really signals is, I don't get your world, but I'll pretend to be curious. That energy is weak. It comes off as needy, external, and disconnected. Instead, flip the frame. Don't ask for permission to understand her. Assume you already do. Speak like someone who's seen the movie before. Someone who doesn't need to chase her validation. When you act as if you understand her better than she understands herself, she'll feel an irresistible urge to prove you right. For example, instead of asking, are you more of an introvert or extrovert? Say, you seem like the type who needs people, but only in very specific doses. Too much social energy drains you, even if no one else notices. Now watch her reaction. She'll blink, pause, maybe even laugh, because you've just touched on something she's probably never said out loud. You didn't beg for her approval. You didn't interrogate, you simply described a hidden layer of her reality. That's the hook. Here's the rule. Validation makes someone feel good, but recognition makes them feel seen. Most women go through life starving for that. When you speak with implied truths, when you confidently describe instead of asking, she feels exposed but safe. And once she feels recognized, trust blooms fast. That's when she starts opening up, chasing your perspective, even trying to decode how you see her. So don't spend your energy describing yourself. Describe her in a way that makes her feel deeply understood. That's how you become unforgettable. Technique 2. Create micro loops that pull her investment. Think of micro loops like invisible threads. They're tiny open-ended statements or questions that leave a gap, an itch in her brain that she has to close. Humans are wired this way. It's the same reason cliffhangers keep us watching shows, or why you can't stop thinking about someone who left a sentence unfinished. So instead of giving everything away or interrogating her, throw out a half-open loop. For example, you strike me as someone who acts chill, but secretly overanalyzes everything. Am I wrong? Notice what happens. You didn't ask for her life story. You hinted at a pattern. And now she's invested, either to prove you wrong or explain why you're right. That's the power of a micro loop. Here's another one. There's something you're not telling me. I can feel it. You're holding back the fun part. Then pause. Say nothing. The silence creates tension. She feels the imbalance and will often step in to fill it. And here's the psychology behind it. When people invest even a little in a conversation, their brain reframes the whole thing. I must like this person because I'm putting effort into this. That's why micro loops are so effective. They get her to do the work. And when she invests, attraction grows. So remember this rule. People don't invest because they like you. They like you because they've invested. Drop half thoughts. Speak with curiosity wrapped in confidence. The less you push, the more she leans in. Technique 3. Make it feel like a shared movie, not an interview. This is where everything ties together. The most powerful way to ask questions is to turn the interaction into a scene, a story you're both co-creating. When she feels like she's stepping into a shared movie with you, her analytical brain switches off. She stops checking boxes and starts experiencing. Why does this work? Because the emotional brain thrives on shared imagination. When two people imagine together, the brain codes it as if it actually happened. That creates false nostalgia, the sense that you already share a history, even if you just met. Later, she'll miss you, not because of what really happened, but because of the way she remembers the feeling of your story. Instead of asking, "What do you do for fun?" try, "If we were in a movie and you suddenly disappeared halfway through, what secret twist would the audience discover about your double life?" Now she's not explaining. She's imagining. She's co-authoring the story with you. And here's the secret. When she feels like you're already part of her story, she'll want to keep you there. So ditch the robotic small talk. Don't treat her like a contestant filling out a form. Build a moment. Add tension, mystery, playfulness. Make her your co-star, not an interview subject. Because when it feels like a movie, she'll always want a sequel.